You.
I need to start this one out. Okay, I'll
No,
start.
no, we already know Joe front
Me,
runner.
nigga, I know mine. Yeah.
That's
So
true. Carl, you
I
go
was
first. You
going to
haven't
say,
gone.
can I start only because I told y'all in the messages I don't have a leader because this race is so wonky. It is. I can't pick nobody to win. So I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson. No, I'm playing. I'm not going Lamar. Part of me wants to go Dak because Dak is huge to the Cowboys' success. They don't have a run game. He's been putting up great numbers, but he don't have the quality wins. Like his wins, other than the Seahawks, are not good. Then I also, the only reason why I can't agree with Joe on Brock Purdy is because I can't get the taste of the 3-week stretch with no Debo, no Trent Williams. Brock Purdy has 6 picks on the year. Them 3 weeks, he threw 5 of them. So without all the pieces in place, he threw 3 touchdowns, 5 picks, had a 120-some yard game. And yes, against the Bengals, he got his numbers with 300-some yards, but he threw 1 touchdown and 2 picks. It's so hard to get that taste up out of here. So, and then I understand Joe's points with Jalen Hurts. He got the wins, but he does not have the numbers. But then you look at it, Jalen Hurts have to overcome a lot. The defense, as it was number 2 in passing last year, I believe, it's 28th this year in passing.
Don't empty it my clip. Don't empty it my clip.
I'm sorry.
My clip.
29th, actually. 29th.
20. Thank you. Making my point a little bit better. 29th in defense. They don't have the 70, 80 sacks last year. So Jalen Hurts is showing you it's not because of my team why I was doing what I was doing last year. I'm just really that good, and I can win games for my team. You see the one team, the one game Jalen Hurts, quote unquote, played bad against the Jets, they lost. Brock Purdy, he had the 3 weeks with no Debo, no Trent. They lost. They were capped at 17 points. As soon as they come back, blowouts. Right back on schedule. Blowouts. 30-plus points. As soon as he got them pieces back. So it's hard to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go Dak. Just because Hurts lost, I'm going to go Dak. But for real, I don't have a front runner. I'm not trying to empty out everybody clip like AJ said, so I'm going to let y'all go.
All right. So who going next? You want to go, AJ? Yeah, I know what I got. It's pretty.
So it depends on what you want. And that's my honest answer. For the people listening, I have a front runner and I'm gonna get to that in a second, but it depends on who you or what you want. Do you want the numbers? You want the numbers, you got Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has two big time wins, beat Jacksonville too. I thought that was a pretty solid win as well. And so I gave him Jacksonville too. That's 3. Hold on, Dave. Bear with me. You know what I'm saying? I just gave the 49ers enough credit. I ain't finna get him too much now. All right? So he got some quality wins in there for sure. And he's got big time numbers. You're gonna hear Joe rattle off a bunch of numbers when it comes to Brock Purdy, rightfully so, because that helps Brock Purdy make his case. Dak Prescott also has really impressive numbers as well. So if you're looking for numbers, you can go with either one of those guys. Full disclosure, I went on full timeout and said, man, I'm gonna give it to Dak right now, given the fact that Jalen Hurts just lost to the San Francisco 49ers. I gotta give him credit where it's due. He's balling out, he's putting up numbers. Then I sat back all day today and said, hell no, it's Jalen Hurts. I'm rolling with Jalen Hurts. When I look at the total yards, when I look at the total touchdowns, when I look at the game-winning drives, when I look at the fourth quarter drives, Jalen Hurts, to what Carl just said, is leading the Philadelphia Eagles. This is one thing that people not talking about enough. The Philadelphia Eagles are coming off of a Super Bowl appearance, an appearance which they lost in. It's not a lot of teams that bounce back from Super Bowl L's. It does not happen often. The Philadelphia Eagles have done that. They haven't done it by the defense, because a lot of people said the defense was elite last year, and I agree. The defense did hold their weight last year. But this year, the defense has been atrocious. Jalen Hurts has had to come through and save the day oftentimes this year, with this defense not playing to the level that it's supposed to play to. We got all these names out there on the defensive side of the ball, but it's not a lot of guys out there making plays. The secondary has been awful. Jalen Hurts this year spent about half of the season dealing with a knee injury that he's still kind of dealing with, and yet and still he's led them to a 10-2 record so far this season. They lost to the 49ers, and everybody wants to take Jalen Hurts from first to third, fourth, wherever you want to put him off of that one loss, and just ignore the Kansas City win, ignore the Buffalo Bills win, ignore the quality wins that he has on his schedule, knowing dang well at some point the Philadelphia Eagles was going to lose a game. It was going to happen. They wasn't going to finish 16-1. And so I'm looking at Jalen Hurts' body of work. Jalen Hurts don't have the best numbers. but he has quality wins. He's shown up in big time moments. He has elevated the team to great levels so far this season. They are the number 1 seed in the NFL, the NFC, and in their division. I'm rocking with Jalen Hurts.
Hey Dave, before you go, I had a Booker T moment. You know, where he's like, "We coming for you," and they mess up, and they do. That's why I did like this after. I meant to say Jalen Hurts because that's why I was making my points for Jalen Hurts.
So Jalen Hurts is your person too?
Yeah.
All right, Dave.
So, no quarterback in the NFL is undefeated right now. So, yes, my guy got 3 losses, but Dak also has losses as well. He lost to the Eagles, he lost to the Cardinals, and he got blown out by us. In the 2 matchups that Brock Purdy has had this season against the other 2 MVP candidates, he had better numbers than both of them. 4 touchdowns in both games and 0 picks. He had a higher quarterback rating, a higher passer rating, better completion percentage, better yards per pass, better yards per completion, but you're not putting him over them because he has weapons. Who has better weapons between Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy as far as receivers? I would say Jalen Hurts, correct?
I would say Jalen Hurts. As far as if we talking just
AJ Brown,
receivers,
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith both had 1,000 yards last season, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you said weapons, not better receivers.
I said receivers. I fixed it and said receivers. I said as far as receivers.
Okay.
When was the last time we had two receivers that had over 1,000 yards?
Was it y'all not?
Who has the better offensive line between those 3?
Eagles.
Philadelphia.
By far.
All right. When Trent Williams went down, our offensive line looked terrible. Right or wrong. And I've been saying this all season long that without Trent Williams, we don't have an offensive line.
That is true.
Debo Samuel.
22nd with Trent Williams. Go ahead.
Debo Samuel.
Eagles don't look quite great without Lane Johnson either, but carry on.
That was one game, right?
And they won that one game, by the way, but carry on.
Still had AJ Brown though?
What was that?
Still had AJ Brown? Oh, I'm like, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
AJ Brown. Brock Purdy leads the league, and everything that I just named: completion percentage, QBR, passer rating, yards per pass, yards per completion, touchdown percentage. No one has played as far as quarterback. No one has done that's better for his team than Brock Purdy has so far this season. Yes, I get it. He lost those 3 games. But we're going to fault him for having weapons. Have we ever done that for anybody else? Did we do that for Jalen Hurts last season?
Thank you, AJ.
Don't do that because you did.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, maybe not you, Dave,
not
but
me.
Joe definitely did.
Go ahead, Dave. I go next, bro.
You see the hands, see Joe getting the hands ready. Like, hold
also,
on.
people throw this out there and say that Brock Purdy is a dink and dunk quarterback. He's a yak guy. Patrick Mahomes last season in his MVP season, 54% of his yards were through yak. Tom Brady, when he won the MVP, 49% of his yards were through yak. Patrick Mahomes again, when he first won it, 52% of his yards was through yak. You know, the 4 times that a quarterback has led the league in yards per pass in history, all 4 have won MVP. Peyton Manning, Boomer Esiason were 2 of those guys. So you're telling me now, even though he has all of this, that he doesn't deserve to be MVP right now?
I think he deserves to be in the conversation for sure.
Even though he beat Jalen Hurts and Dak,
he deserves to be in the conversation.
Yeah, we didn't say he's not.
And he also beat the Steelers, who's from what I remember is also in the playoff race right now. Correct?
Barely holding on.
Don't matter.
I gotta take a shot at the Steelers, Dave. Don't mind me. I have to take my shot.
I got
Y'all got them week 1. Y'all got them week 1, right?
And Joe, even though don't matter, it's in the NFL.
I was just confirming. That's all. I wasn't trying to knock it. I was just confirming.
Yeah, it was week one. Beat them 30-7, by the way. And that defense is supposed to be one of the best defenses in the league, correct? Purdy still put 30 points on them.
I know, right? Defense,
I'm just saying. And from what I keep hearing that the Cowboys have this good defense, but he put 42 on them. Eagles have a top 5 rushing defense. He still put 42 on them. The Jaguars lead their division right now. He put 30 on them. So you're telling me he's beating these playoff teams, blowing them out, and he don't deserve to be MVP? To me, it don't make sense. It just don't make sense.
You got Brock Purdy?
I had Christian McCaffrey at first, but after I've heard everything and I did all my research, Purdy is number 1.
Ooh, all right. Let me try to hope Carl and AJ come on. Water's fine, y'all. It's not cold. I got you. All right.
You did no convincing. We can go on.
I'm so glad y'all keep bringing up that same narrative. Them 3-game stretches. He ain't even the best player on his team. You know, I had a lot of time today. I did some research, and I found something. I'm like, oh snap! Why did I remember this? Y'all remember Kurt Warner, right? 1999, his first year starting, won MVP. Who was the best player on that team?
You got Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk was the best player on that team. And guess who was second in MVP voting?
Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk. So look, Kurt Warner. My bad, my microphone. Kurt Warner. Oh, got a super chat. Go ahead, Dave. Hit that hold up real quick. Well, if I unleash, I'll read it. Let's sound right. All right, anyways, shout out to TYP with the 199 super chat. Him and Burton.
It's supposed to be Hemi Burton.
Right. Yeah, it's supposed to be
Hemi Burton. Oh, it's Halliburton though. But anyway, right? Hemi Burton.
You know, like Hemi Butler is supposed to be a play on that.
But Jimmy Butler, that's Halliburton though. That's what he's trying to say. But I get you though. All right, kill the dare. All right, hashtag him VP. Shout out to Ty and the Pacers for advancing to the championship game against either the winner versus the Pelicans or the
Lakers.
All right. So that's what I was saying. Kurt Warner that year won MVP. AJ, you gonna like this. So when Kurt Warner won MVP, right? Did y'all know there were only 4 teams in the NFC that won at least 10 games? The Rams, the Redskins, the Vikings, and the Buccaneers. Do you know he ain't played none of those teams in regular season? None of them. And do you know in the AFC, there were only 4 teams that won 10 games? The Colts, the Jags, the Bills, and the Titans. The only team he played was the Titans, and guess what? He lost that game through 4 interceptions. Sorry, through 2 interceptions. The 3 games he lost, he threw 6 interceptions. The 3 games he lost. Every game they won that year, they won by a huge margin. Every game, not even 1 possession. Every game he lost by 1 possession. So it sounds like Brock Purdy to me. Sounds like he ain't closing the close games, but yeah, he was still the best player that year. He had the best numbers. He had a record. But he ain't beat nobody. Brock Purdy, on the other hand, he beat Philly. He beat Cowboys. He beat the Jags. We ain't got to talk about the Steelers. All right? So when y'all bring up the narrative that I'm stuck in those 3 games, I'm like, bro, we got somebody right here who got a similar season as Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's probably even better. And he wasn't the best player on his team. Marshall Faulk was second in MVP vote in that year. That's crazy. And guess who won MVP the next year? Marshall Faulk. All right. So when y'all say he's not the best player on his team, we've seen it in history that once again, I'll give you another example: Rich Gannon and Jerry Rice. Rich Gannon won MVP. Jerry Rice was the best player on that team. Right? So, but the way Hurst is winning it, I've never seen nobody in the history of the NFL wasn't. Let me pull the numbers. That was in top 10. I mean, Hurst is 11th in passing yards, 11th in passing TDs, 5th most interceptions, 12th in completion percentage, 8th in QBR, and 13th in QB rating. I mean, yes, let's rushing TDs, right? He leads the league in touchdowns. But do you know he's also second in total turnovers? So I've never seen nobody who had that resume and won MVP when you have a guy like Brock Purdy, like Dave said, who's 7th in pass yards, 4th in TDs, 4th least in interceptions, 1st in completion percentage, 1st in QBR, 1st in QB rating, and he beat the Cowboys and all that stuff, right? And here's the crazy thing about the Cowboys stuff. Hurst has 0 games with 140 pass rating. 0. He has 0 great games as a quarterback. 0. Mahomes has 0. Dak has 1 against the Commanders, 142 passing rating. Lamar has 2. 1 against the Cleveland Browns, 142 passing rating, and 1 against the Lions, 155. 155 that's a lot. Purdy has more than all 3 of them combined. He has 4. He has 1 against the Cardinals, 134. We're not going to talk about the Cardinals, though. Against the Cowboys, one of your competitors, Dak Prescott, 144 QB rating. Against the Jags, 148 QB rating. And a season high, 158 against your very loving Eagles. So how can I not put him as MVP when he's beating the... Go ahead, Carl.
I thought we set the standard at 140.
Joe, you said that wrong. He had 158.
Sorry.
He had 158 against the Seahawks. And he had 148 against the Eagles.
My bad. I
was about to say because you said 134, and
that's my fault. That's my fault.
I saw your face, Carl. That's why I knew where he messed up at.
Thank you.
You still going? Can I start my rebuttal?
Wait, AJ, let me go first. Mine is real short.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All I'm gonna say is historically, not all the time they got it right. You know how I bang the table, how I believe Troy Aikman probably shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because just because he was the quarterback of them 3 Cowboys teams, when the rubberman, when Emmitt Smith needed to get paid and he sat out, the Cowboys lost 2 games and they paid Emmitt wherever he wanted to come back and match Troy Aikman. They said, "Bro, get back here. We need you. Troy ain't looking as good. Get back here." Troy Aikman numbers is mediocre. So.
Has he won the That's a different story.
No,
Terry Bradshaw, Hall of Famer, but we ain't no MVP.
Look, all I'm saying is just because something happened in history don't mean it's right.
Troy Aikman deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Carl. I appreciate
Troy
it.
Aikman deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He has 3 Super Bowls as starting quarterback. Eli Manning might get the Hall of Fame over 2.
You missed my
point. But the point still stands that just because something happened in history doesn't mean that that's how it's supposed to go. My rebuttal is this. This is refuse to lose, right? This is refuse to lose. This ain't ESPN. This, because if I want to to do that, I could just, go to work. But I want to be here. That I want to be on refuse to lose because this is I'd argue this is a better network because this is real thoughts. This is real conversation. Me and Joe, we had our conversation about this a while ago, and I'm like, Joe, if you want to just take out, what you think the media is going to do, who do you really feel like is MVP? And you remember what your answer was, Joe?
Yeah, I think Dak Prescott.
You think Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott is playing the best football as a quarterback right now on a consistent basis.
And that I understand and that I respect. And if somebody want to argue that, I will argue that another day. You keep on bringing up things that you haven't seen. We've never seen anything like this. I can't remember last time I seen a team go lose the Super Bowl and come back the next season 10-2. I can't remember the last team.
Go ahead.
I can't remember the last time I've seen a defense that's ranked as bad as the Philadelphia Eagles defense is, and a pass defense that's ranked like 29th, and they 10-2 on the back of their quarterback. It's been a minute. Yeah, I mean, it could be back in 1999. Maybe you got them facts up, but that's you. I also want to bring this up because y'all keep on talking about Brock Purdy's pass numbers and all of this and this, that, and the third. I think it's really, I won't say easy. Let me rephrase it because I don't want to disrespect him. He lit us up. I don't want to disrespect him, but I want to say this. I think it's a lot easier to compete at that type of level when you have no adversity to deal with. You have no adversity to deal with. Let's go through the 49ers schedule this year. So you beat the Steelers 30-7. That defense let up 7 points. You beat the Rams. Okay. You got the Rams 30-23. That defense let up 23 points. The following week, you beat the Giants. That defense let up 12 points. The next week, they let up 16. The week after that, they let up 10. The week after that, they lost. They let up 19. The week after that, 22 points. The week after that, 31. They lost that game, of course. The week after that, 3 points, 14 points, 13 points, 19 points. I mean, dang. I don't know many starting quarterbacks, in this MVP conversation that ain't winning just about every one of them games if his defense ain't allowing more than 23 points a game. They let up 23 points. They let up 23 points like one time this season. The only time they didn't is against the Bengals, and they lost that game. So this is how I look at it. I don't want to take too much away from Brock Purdy, but like I said before in the chats and like I'm saying here now, I want my MVP to be a guy that can overcome. All else fails, I trust that man to come through for me. I have not seen Brock Purdy do that not one time this season. Now, one time have I seen Brock Purdy in a situation where he can't front run, win a football game. If Brock Purdy won one of them games in his 3-game stretch, I'd be like, okay, I'll give it to him. And off the numbers, the media is giving it to him right now off the numbers. And I'm not. If that's
not
what you
numbers,
do,
though.
Listen, this is refuse to lose. You ask who's my MVP front runner. Personally, when I look at MVP, I want a guy that I won't say has to carry the team, but all else fails, I trust that man to come through. He's been in position now 3 times to come through in those situations. He has not come through. Like Carl, that's hard for me to get over. Every other game, yes, he's doing this thing, but the defense is dominating every single game. Dak Prescott in this situation got the same record, if not better. Jalen Hurts in this situation got the same record, if not better. With
and
a
the Cowboys defense ain't dominating either.
What was that?
The Cowboys defense aren't dominating either.
Their record is
the Eagles defense dominated last year, but Hurts is getting an MVP nod.
The difference is they played the 49ers. That's the difference in their record.
Let me ask you this though. Last year, Philly, your team, weren't y'all dominated defensively last year? And
yes,
Hurts was still an MVP candidate?
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Exactly. Y'all had a top 5 defense and a top 5 offense last year.
That's perfect. That's perfectly fair. What happened when Jalen Hurts couldn't play?
So,
they lost. My rebuttal to that is this. Jalen Hurts had multiple games last season where he had to offensively carry. He had to carry
the Colts against Jeff Saturday. That's the only one.
Last season,
every other game, y'all were up most of the game.
The first game when Garner Minshew came in, didn't they put up 30 points without Hurts?
Yes.
Yeah, he had three turnovers. And that was the thing. That was the whole thing.
When Brock Purdy went down in the NFC Championship game, what happened to the offense?
See, that's
what was that? Wait, I didn't hear it. What did you say? I didn't hear that.
I got that. Dave, you're forgetting to mention the fact that y'all didn't have a backup or a third string. Y'all went to a fourth-string quarterback.
How was the offense before Jimmy G took over? How about that? How was the offense?
Hold on, Dave. Not Dave, Joe. Let me answer this question. You can ask me the question.
Go ahead.
So the context you are missing is that both Jimmy G and the third string were both hurt behind Brock Purdy. So they had to turn to Josh Johnson, who was Joe. Well, I don't even know if this is true, but they allegedly say he was working at 7-Eleven the week before they called him up, and he get hurt. And y'all had no choice but to run the football, even on 3rd and longs when the game was on the line. Brock Purdy could not use his left arm or his throwing arm, because of the UCL injury. So I understand you're trying to make a point with that, but it lacks severe context if you just throw that question out there without the context.
All right, let me ask a question quick. All right, so look, it's funny because now Dallas Goedert got hurt against the Commanders. That was the first time y'all suffered an injury.
Last season?
Last season. And that was the first time y'all took a slug.
Right.
First time y'all took an L is when Dallas Goedert got hurt. Then the game after that, y'all struggled. Y'all got a game-winning rushing TD against the Indianapolis Colts as Jeff Saturday. So y'all were struggling without one of y'all guys, right?
But he came through. Jalen Hurts came through. He delivered and won the game.
That's what I'm saying. This is before Gardner Minshew came in. Y'all was still winning games though, right? But nobody looked at Hurts and said, "Oh, when they lost Dallas Goedert and AJ Brown had a bad game, they lost." Nobody did none of that. Did we? Nobody never did that and said he don't deserve MVP because of this reason. Nobody said that. And you told me yourself. And you told me yourself that he was a front runner around that time, which I don't think he was. I thought it was Mahomes and then it was Tua. But you told me that he was right there as a front runner. Brock Purdy does the same thing, but he does one better for you. He goes against his MVP. Oh, look, no, sorry, because you went wild, right? Here you go. Brock Purdy goes on a 3-game skid, right? You got that. Would you rather have this? A guy going on a 3-game skid, right? And then you got one guy who's like literally sliding through each game, right? But when those two meet each other, the one that went on a 3-game skid beat the living doors out the other guy. And not just that guy, he went against another guy, he went against Dak Prescott, the same guy Jalen Hurts went against, and looked even better than that. Like,
It
He
depends
blew
on
both
how
of
you.
them out and looked better than both of y'all on both of those games.
It
So
depends
how
on
can
how
you
you
keep
hold on.
going back to these 3 games that y'all got nothing to do with, but when he went against the competition,
Because
the MVP candidates, he blew them out.
because
So
them
I'm
three
sorry.
games. Because them 3 games might very well cost them their first round bye that they dang near deserve. That dang near may cost them the number 1 seed because of that 3-game skid.
So
That's
you're blaming,
why
so
I
you're
rather
blaming
have
Brock
you.
Purdy.
You asked me a question.
Go,
You
go,
said
go,
would I
go.
rather have the quarterback that got blew out in that game, or would I rather have a quarterback that went on a 3-game skid and all of that? Give me the quarterback that got blew out
No.
because he's still at the end of the day has
I'm not
10
saying
wins.
I'm not saying what quarterback you better have. I'm not arguing who's better. I'm talking about as far as MVP wise.
I know.
That's
I
what I'm talking
understand
about.
that. I'm saying give me the quarterback that's better, that has better positioned his team through thick and thin, through a bad defense and all, showing you he can overcome. Give me the quarterback that better positions himself for a potential playoff run with the road to the Super Bowl going through Philly. Now, if he loses Sunday, I can't make this case. But my guy got the best record in the NFL. I'm not about to ignore that because he lost to Brock Purdy. I'm not doing that.
So that's the reason why he's MVP. Y'all got the best record.
No, I listed all the reasons. He's MVP in part because of the numbers and everything he's had to overcome so far this season.
He has no numbers.
Bad defense.
He has no numbers.
Not great.
He has the most total yards and the most total touchdowns. It's count for
And he has the
something.
most, he has second most turnovers too. Don't forget about that.
And that's perfectly fine. But he got the most wins, which is the most important stat, given the fact that his team is not as good. Given the fact that his team is not as good as the San Francisco 49ers. And I think
right, your numbers weigh
Dallas,
more than your record. It
does.
does.
Like
if somebody else got a record,
and that's where the debate lies. To me, it doesn't. And that's why you say, who's your MVP frontrunner? I view it differently. I don't say because of the numbers, I have to go with Brock Purdy. No, the context to me matters, bro. The context don't match up for me the same way it matches up for Jalen Hurts. So no, Jalen Hurts' numbers aren't where you want it to be. He got everything else you want, though. He got everything else you want.
He beat Brock Purdy. He didn't beat Brock.
1 seed in the conference. He didn't have to beat Brock Purdy. That's my stance. He didn't have to beat Brock Purdy right now. What he has to do. What was that?
He lost to Brock Purdy, but because he has a better record, he should be MVP. When he lost to Brock Purdy.
Pause. Are you gonna listen to my whole case, or are you just gonna focus on one piece?
No. I'm not. I'm listening. Okay, your whole case is he is clutch. That's it.
No, it's not just that. It's what it's him overcoming his team. Whereas Brock Purdy,
how many games has he been good?
Devontae Smith. What you mean he overcome
his team? His defense is trash day. Are we watching the same defense? Why? Let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask y'all a simple question. Can I ask y'all a simple question? And then I'll let y'all talk. What is the reason the Philadelphia Eagles are 10-2? Honesty.
I mean, AJ Brown Jalen Hurts is a part of it. So is AJ Brown.
Who's the biggest piece?
Jalen Hurts.
Because we see. Let me fit. Because we see AJ Brown have bad games and the Philadelphia Eagles still win, right?
So yes, we have. And we also seen Debo have bad games and he still won too. Debo hasn't been good all year. Y'all forgetting that part. Y'all part what he did to y'all.
I can step in.
Jalen Hurts.
Hold on. Let me answer that, AJ. You can say Debo ain't been good all year, but when Brandon Ayuk went down, Debo had 100+. When Debo went down, Brandon Ayuk ain't look so good. So you can argue because of the threat of Debo, it makes that 49ers offense go as it go.
What games had y'all won when AJ didn't play well?
I just want to. Didn't they beat the Kansas City Chiefs without AJ playing well? They just
did. Jalen Hurts play well. Did Jalen Hurts play well?
He did what needed to do to get the dub.
That's my point. Okay. So Devontae Smith play well? Did Devontae Smith play well?
Devontae Smith played well, yes.
Okay, so you bring up Brandon Ayuk or these guys, you got guys too. Jalen Hurts look like an MVP from start to finish. I can name probably like 3 games when he actually looked like an MVP this year. 2 games against the Commanders. And you can say the Bills because he had 5 touchdowns, but even with the Bills, he didn't look good.
And just like you can say that, I can't give you a single game where I feel like Brock Purdy is the reason why they won. I can't, bro. I can't.
You can't give me a comeback win. You can't give me a. You're looking for a comeback win. That's what
no. I'm looking. You know what I'm looking for, honestly, with Brock Purdy. And this isn't to discredit or disrespect Brock Purdy. It's not. What I'm looking for with Brock Purdy is one thing at this point. I need his MVP moment. I have not seen it yet. I have not seen it
You
yet.
looking for a clutch
I
moment?
have not.
That's your.
I'm
You
looking for.
You're
I'm
looking
looking
for a
for.
comeback.
I'm looking. I'm
You're
looking
looking
for.
for a
Listen,
comeback.
I'm looking for
That's
the
it.
team.
That's all you could be looking for.
I'm looking
Because,
for the team.
Bruh,
I'm
we
looking for
had
the
negative.
I never.
We
I
had
can't even get
negative.
my original
That
question
deep.
out.
Hold up, bro.
Nah,
That
go
defense
ahead.
that
Dave
you
I said a
said.
good
Yeah,
point.
Dave
Right
ain't
there.
talking in a minute. Go ahead,
That
Dave.
defense that you said is so bad for the Eagles. We held us to negative 6 yards in the first quarter. We did not look good in that first quarter. To that defense that you said that is so bad.
Y'all scored 6 straight touchdowns.
That's
Who?
Dave,
on him.
football is a game of
But
football.
who sparked that whole situation? Who was the reason why they
Y'all
scored?
said Debo Samuel.
The first touchdown was all Brock Purdy. You tripping?
Yeah, what
You
you
want that
talking
first drive? That first drive when it's schooling y'all?
We didn't
It
watch
was
the
all
same
Brock
game.
Purdy. Extended plays and everything.
What
Yeah,
sparked-
Debo got the
what-
backhand stuff.
The first
So
What
touchdown-
sparked their
y'all,
run?
you
What
guys
sparked-
taking
Yeah, the
away.
first one with the
What sparked the
Come on,
Niners?
man. Yeah.
What sparked the Niners run is they stopped throwing the ball as much. They handed the ball off to CMC. CMC got it going. Then the screen game got going, and Debo took off. That's not to completely take credit away from Brock Purdy. But my point, what my original question was this, and then I'll give it to y'all. Y'all can say what y'all want.
I just want to say one thing.
I look at the Philadelphia Eagles and say they go as Jalen Hurts goes. That is how I look at the team right now because the defense ain't showing up. The run game, which I haven't even brought up, the run game, we don't even run the ball enough, but the run game is hit or miss. We saw in both the Commanders games. Joe, you watched them, so you know, right? I look at the Eagles and say, let me get this off really quick, and I'm done. I look at the Eagles and say, this is the reason why they are winning game. It is games because it is mainly because Jalen Hurts is doing his thing. He's doing his thing. When I look at the 49ers, I don't have the same take. I look at the 49ers and I say, CMC is your MVP on that team. He's a big part of the reason, if not the reason why they are winning these games. That's how I feel. That's truthfully how I feel. Dave changed his mind when he went back and did the research, but he, as a Niners fan, said the same thing. I would put CMC as my MVP for this team. Now, if you want to put CMC ahead of Hurts, be my guest. Okay, I won't refute it.
What?
But
How,
at
AJ?
the same,
Are you serious?
I'm just saying from the standpoint of if the Niners beat the Eagles, if you want to say CMC, go ahead. But what I'm saying
CMC
is,
wasn't even the best
when I
player
look
that
at
game.
the 10-2 Eagles, go ahead.
Shout out to Tomo, 189 super chat. We need to define MVP moment.
An
A clutch
MVP moment?
That's what you talking about. It's my clutch moment.
An MVP moment is what Dak Prescott did against the Seattle Seahawks. His
A
defense
clutch
didn't
moment.
His defense didn't show up at all, and Dak didn't punt that ball one time. That's when I said that's his MVP moment. You went up against a team. Nobody said you could beat a winning team. We don't have a ton of respect for the Seattle Seahawks, but that's the one time all season I've seen Dak Prescott under the pressure to carry his. You gotta be the carrier today. You got to carry the team. And what did he do? They didn't punt not one time because Dak Prescott had every opportunity, and he carried his team to a victory. When I look at Jalen Hurts, MVP moment, I look at the Buffalo Bills game. Game tying drive, game winning drive, carried his team in the second half in a complete shootout. That's what I view as an MVP moment. When nothing else around you is really going the way you need it to go, are you going to be the guy to come through and will this team to a victory? I have not seen Brock Purdy do that once all season. That's why I personally cannot give it to him. He front running, y'all. Front running.
Go ahead, Carl.
The one thing I've been dying to get off for like 20 minutes because Dave said it in his open
Thank you, J-Mo.
In his open soliloquy, we're not faulting Brock Purdy for having weapons. We're faulting Brock Purdy for when the weapons went down, you didn't do what was necessary. You actually looked pretty bad to get a dub. Wait, let me finish. The Browns game, I'll give you. He did drive them down to put them in position for a 50-yard field goal for a rookie that was missed.
That was not a 50-yard field goal.
It wasn't. It was a short field goal.
It was not short. It was
short.
like 40, 50 yards.
Yes, it was. It was not.
You gonna put it up, but go ahead.
Oh, Joe, look it up while I speak. One of y'all look it up. I think it was like
40. Drake Elliott hit a 59 there, but Hurts get credit for that.
Hold on, time out. That's not my point. My point
he got them to that spot because he played great in the second half. Brock Purdy
Y'all are missing the point.
Go ahead.
The point of that is saying, whoa, I put him in position to win. Hey, you missed. Hey, you only had 120-some yards that game. So you didn't put your team in position to win till it was too late, and stuff happens. The Vikings game, he had an opportunity to drive down to win the game. He threw the game-losing pick to Cam Bynum. So, again, Your weapons are down. We need you to step up. You did not step up. I'm not faulting him for having weapons. I'm faulting him for when the weapon, you say the only offensive lineman you had, Trent Williams, cool, and Debo went down. You did not step up. That's why I'm faulting him.
Here's my issue. MVP moment. All right. Going into that Eagles game, all the chatter. All right. Debo himself. If we had Purdy, it wouldn't have been close. That's what he said. Eagles talking trash. I mean, y'all going back and forth. The game starts. People, y'all say yourself. Purdy don't look good. Purdy don't look good. Y'all say yourself. And by the way, I had to fact check you. Chris McCaffrey on that first touchdown drive, he had like 4 rushes, 3 for no gain, 1 for 11 yards. By the way, Purdy was the one that got down there. Debo had 1 catch for like 12 yards. That whole drive. So I want to give you. I remember Purdy was slicing y'all up.
Thank you, Joe.
He came back from down. He came back in the second quarter down 0-6. I got you.
What? So it's his fault.
It was his fault.
Hold on.
Didn't score a touchdown in those first
Hold
two.
on.
I haven't seen enough, y'all. It's not me hating on him because I said I give it to Dak before him. Y'all know how I feel about that. It ain't me hating. That's just how I feel, bro.
41.
That's what I said.
So look, here's my thing. So hostile environment. It is the second quarter. It's 6-0. You got the Kyle Shanahan's least amount of yards he ever had in his whole football coaching career. All right. And he comes down far deep in his own territory, lead on to a touchdown, and scores every drive after that. So it's his fault. You blame me and saying this is the defense. It's his fault that they scored 6 possessions in a row and y'all couldn't keep up with them. The guy who's orchestrating that. It's his fault that y'all couldn't keep up and he couldn't have his MVP moment. His MVP moment was the fact that they scored 6 straight drives on y'all. That's why I feel like that was the biggest game of the year.
And
Brock Purdy had probably one of the best games.
I remember correctly.
Who not scoring on Philly? So then Dak Prescott, all these what's the name had an MVP moment, I guess, against Philly. Then who ain't scoring on Philly? Right? Everybody's scoring on Philly. Dak Prescott might give us 30 on Sunday. Everybody's scoring on Philly.
But number one offense, Dave. Number one offense, by the way, too. And they walked up in there,
and they only had 17 points.
Right? When y'all play, AJ, you fake it right now, AJ. When y'all,
are we
how many
saying?
points the Cowboys score?
Hold on. Are we saying that the 49ers defense is far better than the Dolphins offense?
What was that?
What we're saying? Is the 49ers offense that much better than the Dolphins offense? Is that what we're saying right now? Do we have Tyreek Hill on our team?
I mean, no.
Isn't
Shanahan and that offense, bro, the way he can maneuver against our defense.
Wasn't Raheem Mostert leading all? Hold on. Wasn't Raheem Mostert leading all running backs in touchdowns during that time?
At that point, yes.
They were number one in passing
right now.
But to our
point,
hold
on. Wait. Isn't Tyreek Hill on pace to go for 2,000 receiving yards right now?
Correct.
You're telling me we got better weapon than Tyreek Hill right now?
I think overall, y'all have a better overall offense.
That's BS.
And I think
AJ, I'm sorry. I'm going to say the last thing I said. My whole thing is you're not giving your defense enough credit. Yes, y'all played terrible against probably these bad teams that y'all can score on. But when y'all go against these juggernauts, your defense showed up every time. How many points did Bill score?
28.
I got a double. They scored 30.
We all went to overtime though.
31.
34? 33, 36.
They won a game 37-34.
Oh,
yeah. And then they got a key interception in the fourth quarter for you. They held the Chiefs to 0 points in the second half while your guy was playing terrible. If they didn't show up, y'all would have lost that game.
They have
the defense kept y'all. Yeah, the defense kept y'all close that whole game until your boy woke up. And then you play the Dolphins. Are you kidding me? Your guy threw a pick 6. Your guy fumbled, and then the Dolphins held that team to 7 points the whole game. But you don't want to give them credit, and you want to give your guy the defense play MVP. And who else y'all play? Y'all play the Cowboys. The Cowboys been dropping 40, 50s, 35s. Held them boys at 23 points the whole game. 23, that's low for the Cowboys. But you don't want to give your defense credit. Yes, your defense don't show up against the Commanders, a team that you can easily score on, the worst scoring team in the whole league. Maybe the Rams. I'm not sure how many points the Rams had. The Patriots had what? So they got pieces on the Patriots. I got a lot of games I can look at and I can say Hurts ain't had nothing to do with that win. Like, remember early in the season, we were all like, Hurts look the same. What the world's going on? He's playing bad. But you want to give him MVP because he's being clutch. Clutch is different from MVP. You got to have a full body of work. Hurts don't have a full body of work, bro. He have moments. He has the record, But a full body of work, he don't have that. He just don't. I'm sorry. But go ahead. I'm done. After that, I'm done. Go ahead. Y'all gotta say something else.
I was gonna answer you because you was asking questions in that, so I was gonna answer them if AJ
My
wasn't.
bad.
Oh,
Go
so
ahead.
you
Go ahead.
said so you brought up the Chiefs game, right? The Chiefs should have won that game because the defense gave up a bomb late in the game that MVS dropped.
So if they would have won, Carl, would I help or hurt his case?
I don't know because
It will hurt.
I'm asking you a question.
So we don't get on the dub. We don't get on the dub. Don't even bring that catch up.
I mean, Hurts would have got the ball back and won anyway, because that's just what he's done this year.
It wouldn't have been enough time left. But
no, it was a minute 40 on the clock when they almost scored that touchdown. We had two timeouts. It was a minute 40 left.
You're right.
And all we would have needed was a field goal to tie.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Joe. Now, because I forgot it was that much.
If
MVS catch that ball and Hurts wins that game, still that helps his case. Now the Dolphins game, Tyreek Hill dropped the open touchdown, bounced off his knees. So it just seems like the defense against primetime teams also have a little luck involved, you would say, because Dak got the 2-point, go review, stepped out. Dak driving down the field to win it, flags, sack, undisciplined football. So this defense
that all help Hurts.
No, but you're talking about how the defense is so good and they show up to play.
Carl, I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to try to discredit the defense and it Hurts win because those things happen. They got 3 dubs. If those things never happen, Hurts is not in this conversation. So because he's in this conversation, let's not even talk about that.
The way Hurts is playing this season, even if those things went the opposite way, we don't know how those games end. We still don't know how those games end because the way Hurts been playing this season, he been coming back beating teams. That's a fact. You've been clutch, right? We don't know that.
That's the one game I wouldn't talk about. The Bills game. We gonna credit the Eagles defense for that pick, or we just gonna say that's Josh Allen being Josh Allen?
So same way y'all want to credit Hurts for these dubs.
That's Josh Allen being Josh Allen.
That's what I'm mad. That's what I'm getting confused about. We are giving Hurts all this credit, but in the same breath, you want to discredit the defense. But
the 29th in passing defense, Joe.
Hey,
it's 32 teams in the league.
You think Brock Purdy will be 10-2 on the Eagles?
No, I think Hurts is better. I think Hurts is a better quarterback. That's not the conversation. The conversation is
that's not the conversation.
Because I think Lamar will be better with the Eagles.
Do you think he wouldn't be 10-2 because he's not better, or you haven't seen him uplift his team the way Jalen Hurts has this season?
I haven't. That's not the conversation. Once again, the conversation isn't who's the clutches, bro. I'm sorry.
Has Jalen Hurts
I want my MVP to uplift his team when things ain't going well, bro.
When Mahomes won MVP the first time, I don't think he was clutching those games.
It was just like done, but because I had a suggestion at the end of this. Can I suggest that y'all are really making a case for Brock Purdy being all pro with the numbers and everything? Because look, because he has the numbers to be all pro. Like if you say that, I can't disagree with that because he got the numbers to be all pro.
And he got the wins, Paul. Stop saying numbers. He got the wins too against his competitors.
Okay, fine. Yes, he does. My bad.
That's a big point y'all missing. He beat 2 MVP candidates.
No, we're not missing that point.
Great.
I promise you I'm not missing that point. But again, he has the numbers. He has the wins. But like AJ and I are saying, well, basically for real, AJ, I'm with them though on this. MVP is valuable, the most valuable. Jalen Hurts is more valuable than Brock Purdy is, in my opinion.
They never give it to the most valuable.
We're also forgetting the fact that the 49ers haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher since Frank Gore. And from the graphic I believe I saw was 2014. Almost 10 years later, we finally get a 1,000-yard rush out of the 49ers.
And why is that? Because he's that every down back. 49ers always run by committee. They always been about committee running the team.
Exactly. And y'all forget.
Come on, man.
Hold on, man. Valuable Christian McCaffrey is.
I mean, they had Saquon Barkley. It'll be the same way.
If we're going to talk about San Francisco, be right. You want to put context into it. How many times have we had a healthy running back every season since Kyle Shanahan has been there? We have not. Matt Breida got hurt when we went to the Super Bowl. Raheem Mostert got hurt. Elijah Mitchell got hurt. We haven't had one running back that was able to play almost every single game this year. Even when even when CMC went down against the Browns, he came back in that game. Come on, man. I stopped playing on my team like that.
No, all right, so come on. That shows how valuable Chris McCaffrey is because he's on the field, he's available, and he finally
yes,
got
but give me one time give me a scenario when
What about Swift then?
Hold on, when Jalen Hurts did not have his best offensive lineman and when his best receiver
run the ball.
Oh no. Give me a scenario because you want to talk about scenarios, right? Give me a scenario when Jalen Hurts played without AJ Brown or Devontae Smith, and he played without Lane Johnson in the same exact game. Give me that scenario. Did he do that yet? No. And when
I pose a different scenario?
And when he didn't have weapons, he wasn't even remotely closing the MVP conversation because we forget about what happened in 2021 when he didn't have.
I don't. Playoffs. That team was trash.
Yeah,
that team was terrible. I don't
forget the playoffs, and that team was nowhere near as good as this 49er team, even with the injuries.
Thank you. The team was terrible. The team was terrible. The coaching was awful. They had no running game. The Eagles at that time were projected to win 4 games. He carried them rushing, throwing, in every way he could to the postseason. But I'll give you a different scenario. I see my guy win games with injuries all over the defense. I see my guy win games without Lane Johnson, and the Eagles never win without Lane. The moment I see Lane Johnson can't play, I got no faith. I was shocked we win a game without Lane. It never happens. A shootout without Lane at that. A shootout without Lane Johnson. Where he has to drop back
against who
and make plays happen. Buffalo.
Against Buffalo. And when Lane first got hurt and he left the game, what happened?
In what game? What we talking about?
The Jets. Did he get hurt against the Jets? And what happened? What happened?
Right, he lost, but he lost once. Brock Purdy lost 3 times in a row against mediocre competition. Well, against one mediocre team. I'll say that. One mediocre team.
Hold on.
Real quick, y'all.
Because I don't want to disrespect the what's name is Burrow and the Browns. I don't want to disrespect
with me.
But the Vikings were in the playoff. Come on.
Yeah, the Vikings won the league one.
But the Vikings without Justin Jefferson ain't nothing worth talking about. And y'all know it.
I don't want to make a big deal. I don't want to make a big deal out of this. That Vikings game is kind of similar to Tua last year with the Packers, right? Because he left that game with a concussion. But I don't want to do that. You know, I ain't gonna do that because remember Tua played at the Packers, played well, and I know where he threw all these picks at the end of the game. That's exactly what happened with Brock Purdy. But anyways, I want to make this case real quick, y'all, before we end it about Chris McCaffrey. I know a lot of people think Chris McCaffrey should win MVP and Tyreek Hill. All right, Chris McCaffrey, right? Ever since in the last 25 years, the only running backs that won MVP, Terrell Davis had 2,000 yards. Marshall Faulk broke the TD record. Sean Alexander broke the TD record. LT broke the TD record. AP 2K yards and missed the record by 8 yards. Chris McCaffrey played 12 games. He got over 1,000 yards. He needs 968 more yards to get 2K, which is 193.5 a game. He averages 86 a game. So he's not going to do that. He got 12 rushing TDs. He needs 16 to break the rushing TD record. He needs 3.2 a game. He only been averaging 1 a game. So he's not doing that. Right now, line of scrimmage, he has 1,461 total yards. Line of scrimmage. He needs 1,048 to break the record. That's 209 a game. He averages 121 a game. That's not going to happen. 17 total touchdowns. Need 14 more to break the record. That's 2.8 a game. He's averaging 1.4 a game. So he's not going to try to break any record to go over 2,000 yards. That's why I think he won't win it. And I think the only way Tyreek Hill could win it, he has to get the Triple Crown, and he has to break that record. Because we've seen people with the Triple Crown before. Jerry Rice, he only got 1.3% of the voting. Sterling Sharp, 2.5% of the voting. Steve Smith, no votes. Cooper Kupp, 2%. And we all know Calvin Johnson was close to breaking the record, and he didn't get a vote. So, and that's in 16 games. Calvin Johnson is averaging more yards per game than Tyreek Hill is right now. So Tyreek Hill is going to have to get that Triple Crown and he's going to have to break that record to win MVP, in my opinion. So I just want to put that out there.
Anybody up here said, well, AJ did say if you want to put CMC first, then he's cool with it. I didn't say CMC should be first.
Yeah, I don't think he should be first. Like,
I'm just saying I'd rather have CMC in the conversation. I'm not saying don't want to completely discredit Brock Purdy, but I just think CMC is more valuable to the 49ers than Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I agree.
You probably had Dak in the conversation before that Seahawks game, though.
You said what?
You had Dak higher than Brock Purdy before that Seahawks game, didn't you?
I didn't. Y'all know me. I didn't want to have Dak nowhere in there at all.
But
after,
Brock
after
Purdy
the Seahawks game,
but before the Seahawks game, Dak didn't have his moment. He didn't have a moment all year.
Yeah, and then he gave me a moment where I said, okay, he carried the boys.
Before the moment, we had him over Brock though.
What was that?
That's my thing. Y'all stuck on those 3 games because Brock is Mr. Irrelevant. I'm telling you. If Brock Purdy was Mahomes and Mahomes did the same exact thing Brock is doing this year, he would be MVP right now. But because he's Mr. Irrelevant, y'all so focused on the actual player. Is he actually better than these guys? That's not the conversation. The conversation is who's having the best season overall, like full body of work. Hurts got clutch moments and wins.
I want to clarify because Joe keeps saying the same thing. We know Brock Purdy ain't better than Jalen Hurts. And we know.
At least but now we don't know that.
That's never been my debate. My debate is exactly what Carl said. The Eagles are 10-2. The most valuable player on the best team in the league right now is or on the best record. I'll give the Niners the best team. But the team with the best record, the best player on that team right now is Jalen Hurts. When I look at the 49ers, and he's the most valuable player on that team. When I look at the San Francisco 49ers, I do not feel the same way about Brock Purdy. He could have changed my mind before. He hasn't yet. He still can. It's 5 games left. If he has a game, bro, because the Niners ain't perfect. If there is a game where I feel like, okay, them boys struggling today, he gonna have to lift them boys and carry them boys over the top, and he give me that moment where I can say, dog, carried them like an MVP would, I give it to Brock at that point because he's got the numbers, he's got the wins, he got everything you want. But until then, bro, I cannot give it to Brock this shit. I can't. And I will be if Dak beats Philadelphia this Sunday, I will give it to Dak before I give it to Jalen Hurts. Unfortunately, I would.
Hold on.
I would.
Hey, Brock, thanks for calling. I need you to call Debo, call Brandon Ayuk, call Trent Williams, call C-Mac. Tell them don't play Sunday because for you to win MVP, you got to win a game without these guys, all right? You got to lose on purpose if they come back and win. Can you do that for me?
That's what y'all basically
said.
Hold
on.
That's not what we said.
Brock, I already told him. Brock, I already told him if you blow them out, if you win every game versus about 30 points, you can't win it. The only way you can win it, you have to give up the lead temporarily, and you got to make a clutch play. Can you do that for me? Yeah, I know you can do. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool.
Carl,
you got Sunday.
That's not what we said though.
If you got Debo on your fantasy team, make sure you bench him because he ain't playing.
You know you have Debo, by the way, because of NFL Fantasy Network help me, but that's another story. But yeah, that's not what we said.
Let Debo play. All right. Cool.
That's not what we said. That's not even close to what I said. What I said was he missed 2 players and did not overcome, so it leaves a sour taste in my mouth, and it's no coincidence when they came back, they won out in blowout fashion. That's what I said. I didn't say he needs to I didn't say he needs to sit everybody and show me he can win with everybody gone, but he missed 1 receiver, 1 lineman, and it didn't look the same. I seen Lamar lose half of offense and lead the AFC and be first place in the AFC. So excuse me for that. Now to answer your point about the Mr. Irrelevant thing, that's not why I'm doing that. I told y'all last year, this situation reminds me a lot of when he was at Iowa State with Breece Hall and an amazing defense. And I said he was able to flourish in that because he didn't have to do too much. Now, granted, he is playing better than I expected, and I will give him that. But I also said this situation reminds me of his situation in college, and they did really well in college because of it.
Hold up.
All right, y'all. Tom will call me and said, wrap it up. All right? So let's wrap this up, y'all. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.